everyone, welcome back to Rolling with Ellie. Are you ready for a recipe that is going to melt in your mouth? Butter cookie meltaways. Trust me, you are going to love this recipe. But first, before we get started, I wanted to share this find with you. I got these cute boxes from Home Goods, 6 for $5.99. They had a few different varieties to choose from as well. Wouldn't this be such a nice idea if you wanted to give someone some of your desserts as a gift, or even if you buy something from the store or from a bakery and you just want to rebox it? I just wanted to share that with you. Very cute idea. Okay, everyone. You know that drill. Preheat that oven to 350. So I wanted to note right here that even though I am using a KitchenAid for this recipe, if you do not have one, that is okay. You can still do this recipe by hand. You do want your butter to be softened though, because there may be a time where you need to use something other than a wooden spoon like your hands, and it's totally okay to use your hands to mix that dough together. Okay, so in a large bowl, you want to add 1 cup or 2 sticks of butter. I like to chop mine up a little bit, but you don't have to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this off on low first, the low speed. And every so often, even when I do increase the speed, every so often I will stop it and scrape the butter off of the sides and the paddle, because it does tend to, as you can see right here, the butter does form all on the sides of the bowl, and sometimes it gets all in the middle of the paddle, and it's not going to whip if it's all stuck to the side of the bowl and the paddle. So you just want to stop it every so often and scrape it down. And please, just for safety, make sure that your KitchenAid is completely stopped. I know people that have actually hurt their hands by trying to do this with a paddle going because they just wanted to save time or just let it go, and I don't want you to hurt yourself. This recipe calls for 2 cups of flour, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add half, and then I'm going to start my mixer on low, on number 1, because if you put it on anything higher than that, the flour or any of the dry ingredients that you're using does tend to fly out. So what I do is I start it on a 1, I let it mix, and then once it's pretty much incorporated, I will increase the speed to 2 or 3, and then I will stop it and add the second half. And anytime during this recipe, if you notice that your batter is clumping up, what it tends to do once you add the dry ingredients, it tends to accumulate on the paddle, especially in the middle of the paddle. And if it's all your batter stuck to the sides or the paddle, it's not going to mix. So you just want to, throughout this recipe, periodically stop it and do a scrape down. Now we're going to go ahead and add a half cup of powdered sugar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So again, since I added powdered sugar, I'm going to start this off at a 1. And once I see that it's pretty much incorporated, I go ahead and I increase my speed anywhere from a 3 to a 4 or whatever you're comfortable with, and let it mix well. And then I take it out once I see it's all mixed very well, and this is what your batter should look like. If you're not ready to bake this right away, you can wrap this tightly in saran wrap and keep it in your refrigerator. I personally don't like to keep it for more than 5 or 6 days. Otherwise, now we are ready to place these on our baking sheet. I like to use my little melon baller, or sometimes I do just roll them up on my hand, and whatever you prefer. So now you can see right here that with the melon baller, they're not as smooth on top, and these do pretty much bake smooth, but sometimes I will go ahead and I will use a pastry brush with some water just to smooth it out just a little bit, but for the most part, they do bake pretty smooth. These are going to bake for about 20 minutes at 350, and you don't need these to cook to like golden brown or anything like that. And as you can see here, I have let these cool, and now they are on my plate, and I am ready to decorate these. But first, we have to make our icing. So in a medium-sized bowl, you want to add 2 cups of sifted powdered sugar. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of water. 1 tablespoon of milk, 1 teaspoon of butter, and we are also going to add some corn syrup to this, but I personally like to mix it a little bit with a mixer, not completely, but just to give it a little bit of a head start before I add my corn syrup. So we're going to mix this up just a little bit, as you can see here. could do this by hand if you don't have a hand mixer. It's totally fine. You just want to use a very good, strong whisk. Nothing that's kind of flimsy. You need something nice and strong. And now I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of corn syrup. And when you're mixing this up and it seems like it's just not getting creamy and smooth, it may just be extra dry where you are, and you can add a little bit of water. But what I do when I add more water is I do it in 1/4 of a teaspoon increments, because once you add too much water, you can't take it out. So I like to just add just a tiny bit of water first, mix it, and then see if I need more. But when we get to that place where you see when this is done, you can see the texture of it or how smooth it is, and hopefully that will help you to gauge how much water you need. So I just go ahead and mix this, and you can see right here that it is starting to come together. And it's starting to look like icing. Just gonna mix mine up a little bit with a spoon. And then I'm going to cover this and let this sit for about a half an hour just so the powder sugar in it can melt a little bit with the water. Okay, so let's have some fun with some colors. What I did for this video is I had 3 separate bowls, and I took about 1/4 cup of icing per bowl. So I put 1/4 cup in each bowl. And for this video, I just used 2 colors, but I made 3 out of them. In a separate video, I'm going to show you how I did some yellow and some red to make a pink, and I flavor the icings. But for now, here you go. I have 3 bowls with 1/4 cup each, and the 2 colors I was talking about was red and yellow. So for the yellow, I used about 6 drops. The red, I had to use a lot. I had to use about 10 drops. And this is just to get the shades that I want. So you could do whatever you would like. But for the orange, I did about 8 drops of red and about 5 drops of yellow. So here I am. I'm just taking this with, some of them I used my spatula, some a spoon, and I just did like a little roundy little kind of a heavy drop on top, and this icing does tend to slowly drip down, and sometimes some of the edges aren't covered, but I'm gonna in this case add some drizzle. I'm gonna drizzle some other colors, so most of it did get covered. And if it doesn't get completely covered, that's okay, as long as you have a pretty decent amount on there. So here you can see me, I did some yellow, some pink, and some orange. And then I started to drizzle other colors on it. And I know that you saw the beginning of the video, what it looked like when they were done. It just looked so pretty. And in the little short video that I did, the colors weren't as vibrant on the YouTube as they were on my phone. So I'm hoping that by the time I upload this video, you will see the vibrant, pretty colors. Once you're done icing these, what I like to do is I like to store them in an airtight container overnight. It does take that long sometimes for the icing to dry, and it's also a good idea to make sure that they're completely dry. So if you stack 2 layers together with some parchment or wax paper in between, they won't stick to each other. So here these are, they're dry, and look at these gorgeous cookies. I even put them in that cute little box I showed you at the beginning of the video, and I added a paper doily that I got from Dollar Tree. Aren't these just lovely? Wouldn't these make such a nice gift? Or you know what, if you're bringing these to a potluck or something, what a nice way to bring these in a very pretty little box. Or you could do a box or a nice plate. And look at these. I cut this one so you could see the inside. I am telling you, these cookies will melt in your mouth. Well, everyone, thank you for rolling with me again today, and stay tuned for my next 2 videos. The next one will be about how to flavor this icing. As you can see here, I did a yellow and a pink, and that is lemon and strawberry. Oh, these were just as divine. And then after that, I'm going to do a delicious strawberry sauce that you can use whether it be in cakes with fresh strawberries or on waffles or ice cream and just lovely things like that. So again, thank you for rolling with me, and I will see you on the next one.